Dermot Gallagher, how are you, sir?
I'm fine, and I had a great weekend, actually.
Oh, you've been a busy boy, Derm. You've been a very, very busy one. I phoned you up earlier. It's all right, Derm, how are you? Had a quiet weekend, Jace. How's it been? What have you been up to other than been sitting and talking about VAR and refereeing decisions? Has it been all encapsulating this weekend? Is that how it's been for you?
Yeah, in many ways, yeah.
Do you get home? Does Mrs. Gallagher say to you, what is VAR up to?
There's a photograph of me on the back of the door, so I recognise him when I come in.
Wow, but listen, Derm, I really appreciate your company today because I know you're a busy man. I was watching you on Sky, and it's been one of those weekends again where VAR, actually, I'm going to say it now, not many people have said it, but I'm going to say it, actually got some decisions right, okay? So it still has a purpose to serve, but it got some bad ones wrong this weekend, Derm. And I don't know where you want to start, but I might as well start at the game that I was at, covering the game for Chelsea TV. I'll let you talk through the issue where Bowen comes out and Mendy. Let you describe. People listening to this, you're more than welcome to get involved. Pick up the phone 03717 223344. Put your questions to Derm. Derm is here to help and advise and educate, by the way, because there's a lot of things that the football fan and us as pundits, we learn by listening to some of the things. There's a lot of things that, even the laws of the game, the little minute, the nuances of what goes on that football field, sometimes you can miss. Dermot told me one earlier, which I'll let him, when the ball's retake, the drop ball. I'll let you explain that to us in a second. But let's kick off with Stamford Bridge. You know, last minute of the game, Bowen goes in on Mendy, the ball goes to Cornet. He puts it to the back of net, 2-2. But hold on, that's not what happened.
Yeah, I was quite fascinated watching it, and I think it's quite refreshing over the weekend that the PGMO have come out and said they've got both wrong, and that they will now go through a process of analysing why. And I think it's not only that, it's root cause and remedy. How did you arise at that decision? How are you going to make sure? Because we can't get it back. It's gone. It's gone forever. It's all about 3:00 next Saturday. And that's the key thing this week, is the referees to be focused, to be together, and to learn from it, and to learn if they get in that situation next Saturday, what are they going to do? And what are they going to do that will be different and positive? And I think that's the same with the incident in Newcastle. The Chelsea one I say is fascinating because I went in great detail this morning because we had a touch screen at Sky. And I asked Rob and the guest to focus on the referee. And the thing that fascinated me was, if I'd have been that referee on the day and you'd have given me a pin to put where I want to be on the field to make that decision, it was exactly where Andy Madley would be. Because as it unfolded, he saw Mendy come out. He saw Mendy without doubt get the ball. Jason Bowen's gone to play the ball and missed it because Mendy's so quick. There's an inevitable collision because that's what happens. People go forward, people go backwards. They come together, and I think that he sees Mendy on the floor and he's quite happy, he plays on. And if you watch, he plays on quite a long time because when it comes to corner, he takes his time and shoots in the net. And why I say it's fascinating, because when he's asked to go to the screen, I think the VAR, I mean, I've got no inside knowledge, but I feel that he's focused too much on Mendy. He sees Mendy on the floor and he almost gets seduced by this thing, the goalkeeper must be injured.
So just explain what that means when the goalkeeper is down on the floor in the penalty area. Tell us what that means in the laws of the game.
Yeah, if the goalkeeper's down injured in the penalty area, the referee's obliged to stop play. And
doesn't matter what's happened and how he's gone down.
No.
If the referee's down, he's obliged to stop play.
Yeah, because he's injured, because you can't play without a goalkeeper. And at that, when it restarts, you have to drop the ball to the goalkeeper.
That's something I didn't know.
That's crazy.
It's just deemed...
That's bizarre, because you could get yourself in a situation and go, well, they could score it. Let me just lay down and say...
What are you trying to suggest, Gemma?
I'm just, I'm speaking from the rules of the game.
Yes.
Them stating if the goalkeeper's down for whatever reason, you have to stop play. So that needs to definitely be brushed up on. I just want to ask a quick one for you, Dermot, is... Did you, as a referee, we as players, we see things differently. Did you see anything dangerous in the challenge that Bowen put in on Mendy? He didn't go with his 2 feet. He went to go play the ball, jumped at the same time, and the trailing leg, like you said, coming together at pace, they are going to there's going to be some signs of contact.
There's no contact. There's no doubt about that.
But do you see that dangerous, or what's the referee saw in that instance?
It's not a foul.
Yeah, but what's
contact? But it's just not.
I think. I feel a bit for Andy Malley because, as I said, he's got that view. And what fascinated me was the VAR was obviously focused on the goalkeeper, and then he said he wants a review, and he's taken Andy to the monitor, and when you see what is relayed on the monitor,
it's the same view.
It's the same view. Now, other times the VAR will show it from another angle, and you go, "Oh, I didn't see that," and I get that, but he shows him exactly the same view. So, what you've got then, in my opinion, I'm not a coach. I'm just an ex-referee looking at it. I'm thinking, well, you've got two people. You haven't got a clear and obvious error there. What you've got is a varying of opinions between two referees. And on that basis, I would suggest that if you're the referee on the field and the vote's 1-1, you stick with yourself because there's no evidence to prove you wrong.
But question, the one who's making the VAR decision, is he a highly trained referee who was on the VAR?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He's a Premier League referee.
Premier League referee as well?
Yeah.
Oh.
But it was a varying of opinions, wasn't it?
When they become subjective, right? That's where the grey area comes in. Look, we're going to open the lines. Loads of you want to have your say. There's so many incidents at the weekend. We could go through every single one. If we did, we'd have to keep Derm until 12:30. And Derm cannot stay until 12:30 tonight. Derm, appreciate your time. Let's go to the lines. 03717 223344. Let's go and speak to Connor, who is a West Ham fan who was affected by some of these decisions at the weekend. Connor, welcome to the show.
Hello, boys. Big fan. I listen to it every week. So I've got to say, brilliant show. But I've been waiting for the weekend, Cundy. I'm not going to lie. I was at the game Saturday. Yeah. Big West Ham fan. And like I say, Andrew Madley has made a decision there that you should be held accountable. Why are referees are held accountable by the PGMOL? They make mistakes. When you walk in life, you make a mistake, you lose your job, you get fined, you get suspended, nothing happens.
Do you know what, Connor? Listen, I appreciate the call, mate. It was not the best line. We get exactly what you want to say. Just for those that couldn't hear, it wasn't the best line. He said, why are referees, or even VAR, I suppose, not held accountable? I think they are in certain times, but I just wonder this weekend, if they had every ref accountable, then we'd be a bit thin on the ground.
Yeah, but accountable is, everybody who makes a mistake in their job isn't suspended. I don't see the logic in that, to be honest, because you can be accountable by being asked to get better, by being educated, and you want a support package. You want your peers, your coaches to support you and say, look, this is where you are, this is where I want you to be, I want you to try and avoid this. That's being accountable, is getting better in life. But, people knee-jerk reaction say, well, I want that referee suspended.
But there's a question, right? Why we tend not to hear anything, really. It does seem a little bit behind closed doors. You might get a tweet that comes out or a statement. There's no real accountability from someone who you hear them talk. It's the PGMOL come out and made a statement. There's the face of the PGMOL we never hear or see from, really.
But in fairness, they're going to protect their own, aren't they? Like managers protect their players. Managers aren't going to hang their players out to dry. I wouldn't expect when I was a referee in the Premier League, if I'm I wouldn't expect to be held out to dry on a Monday morning. I would expect to be told and advised. But, I was going to go on to say that suspending a referee at the Premier League, for making a mistake, in my view, isn't a wise thing because, A, it does him no good. It just does him no good whatsoever. It sends out the wrong message to his colleagues, and then you have the knock-on effect that if they say, well, we're going to give you a game in Division 1 next week because, you've got to get your form back. He goes to a game in Division 1 and the players will say, well, hang on, why are we stuck with you?
That's fair enough, yeah.
So it's a very, very difficult situation. I think what you've got to do, you've got to manage these guys, rotate them and get the guys refereeing at top games who are in form.
Nav is a Liverpool fan. Good evening, Nav. Welcome to the show.
Hi, good evening, JC, JP and DG.
Oh, very good. Have you written that down, Nav? You haven't remembered all that, have you?
JP and DG, yeah. You're not going to believe this. I'm going to have to speak really fast. I'll speak really fast anyway. But one of the greatest questions of this evening I was going to ask, Dermot Gallagher's already answered. He must have read my mind using his powers of the mind over the ether. So we might as well elaborate on that point that he first said in the first opening few minutes about the Chelsea keeper. In my opinion, and obviously I can't prove it, I think obviously he was fabricating it, he was making it up. So am I right in saying that the rules of the game presuppose that the referee had to take it as a given that he's injured and the referee therefore cannot determine himself that I don't think that's enough to be injured? Or can the VAR not do that? Because unfortunately, like JP said, Jermaine Pennant, that then obviously you can exploit that in some situations. That probably happened a couple of times this season. And that is the problem. So then he has to take it as a given that he's injured, and I don't think he was.
Now, thanks for the question. Just on the back of that, if Mendy gets up, the goal stands, doesn't he?
Yeah, but don't forget, the referee didn't stop the game. The referee didn't think at the time he was injured because he played on, and he played on for quite a long time. It was when the VAR advised him to look and have the dialogue. At that point, I think the VAR has focused on the goalkeeper, from the images. But on the field, as I said earlier, Andy Madley, I think, got the best position. I thought made the best decision.
Do you think Andy Madley should have stuck to his decision? It's not often the referees. In fact, I don't think it happened once last season. It happened once this season. Michael Oliver's done it this season already. This weekend, actually, ironically. Do you think we might start to see after this weekend a little bit more backbone and belief in their own ability to referee?
When you think about it logically, there shouldn't be many times when they go to the screen and don't reverse their decision, because by definition it says the VAR spotted a clear and obvious error.
Yeah.
And that alone should mean there's enough to send him to the screen.
Right.
Whether it's a penalty, a handball, or, a goal disallowed.